Hey gamers, sleep deprived Lord Arcane here. Trying to prep for Origins this weekend, but as I promised, I would give you guys a preview of what's going on. So there's your basic graphics for Origins. Yeah, as you can see, it is this weekend. Like I said, starts tomorrow. I want to go through a little bit about what they've got going on there, their special guests, and then what I'm doing there. The whole of what I'm doing there is why the Dire Corgi logo is here, because I can almost guarantee I'm going to be the only person wearing it. One of my T-shirts. There are a few people out there, but you can count them in one hand. If you have a big hand, you get the idea. Anyway, so the Origins is this weekend. They're kind of mixing with the art show. I don't have a whole lot of information about the art show, so I'm going to focus on the gaming side of things. Special guest wise, they have a very strong D&D presence. So if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, this is going to be right up your alley. You're going to love it. Let me talk about a little bit about their special guests that kind of fall into that banner. One is your picture there, Satine Phoenix. She's a well-known actress and a big advocate of D&D. She's been playing almost as long as I have, which is saying something. And by almost, I mean it's within a couple of years. She's been playing since the 80s. Her husband is also going to be there. He is Jameson Stone, who's also big into D&D. He's not as much of an actor. He's mostly a comic book writer, game designer, things like that. But they're both going to be there. And then the last really big D&D fan I actually know, well, not really well, but I know him. Jason Charles Miller will be there. Now, he does some podcast stuff, D&D. He's an actor. He's a voice actor, etc. We were on some panels, well, a panel anyway, for Solid Gaming Con a couple years back. And at the time I was the director of tabletop gaming, so I helped facilitate getting him over to his fans, closer to the D&D group, so he could play some games in his downtime too. Really nice guy to work with. I really enjoyed Jason David Miller. All right, moving on. Author guest Cat Rambo. Now I do not know Cat Rambo at all. I'm afraid it's just not one of those names that hit a bell for me. And then cosplay guest Michael Nightmage Wilson is going to be there. He's actually from Ohio. So he's got several hundred costumes that he's designed, cosplay designs. He's won several awards for it, whatnot, but he's from Ohio. And then the last one of the special guest list is Coyote Peterson. Now, I use the term coyote because that's how I would pronounce it. I'm not a local out here, so it might be different, but you get the idea. He's also from Ohio. He does some nature-based stuff. Kind of fun to watch. All right, on to the gaming. The dice, the most important part to me. No offense against the area of that special guests. I actually love the hobnobbing with special guests in the various cons. It's one of the funner things I do. Okay, this year I'm not doing anything official responsibility-wise. I could actually sit down, I can have fun and not be on my feet for 40 hours a day. So gaming-wise, there's a ton of different games. They've got their event runs through tabletop events. The schedule is just ridiculously big. They don't have everything I looked for just during kicks. Like, we talked about the G.I. Joe RPG a while back. I didn't happen to see it. I didn't happen to see the Marvel playtest that I talked about a while back too. So this is not that kind of a con. But they've got just about everything else you can imagine. So if it's a decently big-sized game, they've got it up there and running. So I'm going to talk about the Starfinder Pathfinder stuff because that's my ball of wax. But they've got games for all sorts of things, as you can imagine. With 3 special guests for D&D, they're probably going to have a little bit of D&D. Call it a hunch. All right. So with Pathfinder Starfinder, the games are set up at Pathfinder and Starfinder start at 8 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. They're planned for 5-hour sessions intentionally. Part of that is because it makes it easy to fit in the numbers, hence the 6 hours apart starting times. Normally the sessions will last 4 hours. There's reasons why they might push into up to 5 hours, and then there's another gap for an hour just in case. And from somebody who's run more than my fair share of games over the decades, I'm starting to feel really old right now. Anyway, those who have run games forever know that 4 hours is sometimes more like a guideline than an actual rule. So I have had a few that have hard rules, but most of them are just like, you got to get done, you got to get done, you got to get done. We did have one Starfighter game that I ran at a con that there was a space combat at the beginning of the adventure that took 3 hours. So you had to shove the entire rest of the adventure into an hour. That was hard. It's just the way the ship combat was working out. It wasn't. It was a hard ship combat. It's just nobody could hit anything. Nobody was rolling well. It happens. So anyway, 8 a.m., 2 p.m., 8 p.m. I am mostly going to be a bright and early type. Gaming doesn't start Wednesday until noon, so the first Pathfinder games on Wednesday are 2 p.m. But aside from that, I'll be there at 8 a.m. in the morning. Now that does mean, if you do your math right, 12 hours between start times, 5 hours per session. It gives you 7 hours to go home, sleep, wake back up, shower, and get back. I'm too old for that stuff, so you're not going to see me in the evenings. I just can't handle it anymore. You might catch me in a 5 o'clock game. Some of the minor things, quests, for example, or bounties. Bounties are big in second edition, and they're starting to come out with Starfinder too. They're designed to be about an hour and a half long, so you'll see some of them in the gaps. But the 828 is the main starting times. Okay, Starfinder special, and this is one I just, my heart bleeds to miss this one. And if I get enough 5-hour energies in me to stay awake, then I might be able to push it. Yeah, my wife and daughters aren't quite as excited about this as I am. But Friday night, there's a Starfinder special that apparently is being specifically modified for Ohio. I do not have details on that one. I'm not GMing it. I have some Starfinder characters who would love to, dust off the dust and come play. Starfinder's always been a fun side for me, but it doesn't see as much attention as Pathfinders for me. So that's a big one. If you're looking for what to catch, you can't afford to miss. That's that. All right. So now talking about me, good old dire Corgi. I make myself easy to find. First of all, I'm over 6 foot tall, and second of all, I'm over 300 pounds. You don't miss me. Okay. I make a much better wall than I do a door, and I make a much better door than I do a window. But I'll be GMing, as I said, 8 a.m. except for Wednesday, because they don't wake up that early on Wednesday, and I'll be playing usually in the afternoons after that. So if you're interested in me, I will be at Origins. I will be GMing Pathfinder. I'll go through what I'm GMing here in a minute, and then I'll be playing in the afternoons. Wednesday afternoon, I don't have enough time to fit everything in, so I'll probably just do a GM on Wednesday. Although, the kid and my wife and I are looking at, well, maybe we'll have to play something in the afternoon, but it'd have to be a small one. A bounty or something like that if we can fit it in. What we're planning on playing is going to be our Cobalt Squad. If you have not played with me and my wife and my daughter when we play weird characters, you're in for a treat. We have really fun with weird voices. Hopefully I'll heard yours. What? Okay, so I have really fun with weird voices, and they put up with it.
Okay, wife coming in to say hi. See, look, I'm wearing a Tiger Corgi shirt, and I don't use funny voices. But I love you, dear, even if you do slam me all the time.
I don't slam you all the time.
Not that bad. I promise I'm not that bad.
No, you're very supportive. You put up with me for 29 years. I've got to say something. Mostly she keeps rolling, failing her will saves. But I'm very charming, I promise. Anyway, so you come play with me and the cat. The cat will not be there. And we'll see you then. Play-wise, we'll be mostly doing Cobalts, so you can catch me Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon. I'm missing something in there. I don't think we're planning to stay late on Sunday. I have to check my schedule, but, things change. By the time I get to about the 4th day of a con, and this one's a 5-day con, I'm a zombie. So you might have a zombie Cobalt. And as far as GMing, I'll be GMing bright and early. 2 o'clock on Wednesday, I'm GMing the Crashing Wave. And the other one I'm GMing is Headshot the Rock. The Crashing Wave is a PFS scenario, so you'll be playing Pathfinder Society characters. Imagine a monastery full of Undine monks. Mostly elves. Undine elf monks. That's water elemental related people. So the entire adventure takes place underwater mostly. There's a little bit on top of the surface. Then Headshot the Rot. If you hadn't guessed, Headshot the Rot involves guns and zombies. It is all about guns and zombies. That one's only a 4-player, so hopefully, well, I hope that was not too overbooked. I can only handle 4 players on that one because of the way it's designed. But yeah, it's the zombie apocalypse come to Pathfinder. So you'll have to check that one out. That's a fun one. It's a what they call a module, but it's a 4-hour module. It's a smaller one, and that's not society designed, but there is sanctioning for it. You get society credit for it. So it's not repeatable, unfortunately, because I'm GMing it twice. I only get credit on once. I'll cry a little bit later, I promise. Anyway, that's the rough schedule. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but the Dire Corgi shirt my wife had, you'll see me wearing those all day, every day, because it makes me easy to see. And as I said, I'm over 6 foot tall and over 300 pounds. You really can't miss me. If you're lucky, I might shave. We all have masks. I want to talk about that in just a minute on Origins. Origins is very, very strict on their vaccination and mask policy. In order to pick up your tickets, you have to show your vaccine card. In order to actually play, there are only a few areas specifically designed for eating and drinking that masks are not required. But everywhere else, masks are mandatory. This may sound harsh for me. Everybody's got their own status on it, so I'm not going to pick on anybody else's status. I found out this week that one of my good friends and my son both caught COVID. And of course, my dad passed from COVID a couple years ago now. He died in 2020, December 2020. So I kind of take it seriously, but the biggest thing is Origins is taking it really seriously. So be aware of that before you buy your tickets. If it's not your can of tea or ball of wax or whatever you want to call it, then no hard feelings on my end. But I want you to be aware of it. So if I see you this weekend, I see you this weekend. Hope to say hi. If I don't see you this weekend, well, then you're going to miss Origins. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.